Yesterday we see up to the topic of the channels in CDMA 2000, and today we are going to see the second subdivision will be the power control. So the power control, it is a major enhancement of CDMA 2000. So by improving this power control in CDMA 2000, they will providing or enabling high data rate. So this CDMA 2000, they will using the primary enhancement technique like fast forward link power control. So the forward link nothing but it is a link which connecting between the base station as well as the mobile unit. So this CDMA system will offer the interference limited as well as they will reducing the interference result. By satisfying these two important points, the CDMA 2000 system will improve the system capacity. And now we are going to see the advantages of power control by using forward as well as reverse link. So first advantages, the system capacity will be enhanced or optimized. And second one, by enhancing the system capacity, automatically the lifetime of the battery will be extended. The most important one, we are using the radio waves. So this radio waves will be somewhat harm to the mobile unit or the base station if the proper power control will not be enabled. So by satisfying the better power control point, this radio path impairment will be compensated better or in proper method. The meaning of impairment is nothing but harm. So the last one will be the quality of service of various bit rates can be maintained. And next we are going to see by achieving these two important points like interference limited and maintaining good communication link, we can attain these four advantages. So by attaining these four advantages, the CDMA 2000 will use the most important technique called fast response closed loop power control, mainly on the reverse link. Therefore, the CDMA 2000 they mainly concentrated on the reverse link. Reverse link nothing but the link which will be occurs between the mobile unit as well as the base station. Forward link is nothing but the starting point will be the base station and the destination point will be the mobile unit. So next we are going to see the topic frame error rate or frame error rate. So in this case we are going to make a measurement. So based upon the measurement we are going to increase the power level of the mobile unit or decrease the power level of the mobile unit. So for this we are going to use the station called BTS. BTS stands for base transceiver station. So this base transceiver station they will measure the reverse link from the mobile unit up to the base station, and based upon the measurement they will send the power commands to the mobile unit to increase or decrease the power level. So in the upcoming slide we have see how to increase or how to decrease the power level. So in this case the mobile unit will be operate autonomously. There is no any other support to operate the mobile unit. So based upon the measurement they will make a correction of the forward link. So in this case the corrections will be based on the measurement. The measurement is nothing but frame error or frame error rate. This frame error rate will be operated on the forward link. So next we are going to see the topic closed loop power control and outer loop power control. Another name of outer loop is nothing but open loop power control. So the closed loop power control will be located on the reverse link. Nothing but CDMA 2000 will be located on the reverse link. So the base station will be performing on the outer loop power control. So from this line you can justify the mobile unit will be operated on the closed loop power control and the base station will be operated on the outer loop power control. So now we are going to see how the measurement will be taken. So if the frame received from the mobile unit will be arrived without any types of error, now the base station will instruct the mobile unit to power down. That means it has good power. So we can decrease the power level. Suppose if the frame received from the mobile unit arrived with some types of error, mean the same base station will instruct the mobile unit to power up the level. That means if errors will be occurring, means the base station will instruct the mobile unit to power up the source. Suppose if the error will not be occurring by the mobile unit, now the same base station will instruct the mobile unit to power down the source. So next we are going to see the open loop power control, and this will be taken from the internet. So the mobile, they will send the access to the base station and they will wait for the response from the base station. So if the signal will be high, means the mobile get connected with the base station and the transmission power will be low. If the signal will be weak, now the mobile knows that the transmission path will be lost and they should greater the signal or nothing but the transmission power. So this is the open loop power control diagram and this is the closed loop power control diagram. So in the open loop, first they will transmitting, then they will measuring the received power and they will estimating the path loss and they will calculating the transmission power, as well as they will transmit and loss will be received. So when you are going for closed, so one more important point, in open loop power control, we are going to get the response from the base station. That is, base station, if the signal will be high, means the base station will be connected with the mobile. If the signal will be low, now the base station does not connected with the mobile unit. So this will be the closed loop power control. In this, the two types of activity. In the first activity, two operation, transmitting operation and measuring the received power from the mobile unit. Similarly, in the second activity, they will, based upon the measuring power, the base station will send the command, nothing but power control command, and based upon the power control command, the mobile unit will decide their activities to increase the power up or to decrease the power up, or to increase the transmission power or to decrease the transmission power. So the CDMA 2000, they will use power control on forward channel with introduction of reverse pilot channel. Actually, in the last slide we have seen that the CDMA 2000 will depends upon the reverse link, but they will, when you are according to the channel, the CDMA 2000, they are using the forward channel by introducing the reverse pilot signal. So already you can see that the condition of forward channel, that is the base station, they will transmit multiple common channels and several dedicated channels to the subscriber within the coverage area. So this is the definition given for the forward channel. So I will show the definitions. So this is the definition. So next we are going to see the most important one. I know the meaning of pilot channel. It is a secondary physical dedicated control channels, mainly used for controlling process. This is the meaning of reverse pilot channel. So what is the main function of this reverse pilot channel now? One function will be controlling process. So what is the main use of this reverse pilot channel now? They will help to reduce the interference caused by the forwarding energy. Forwarding energy nothing but movement of data towards the movement of data from one unit towards another unit. That's nothing but the forwarding energy. So by using this type of channel, we can reduce the interference. So the mobile unit, they will measure the received power and comparing against the threshold. So based upon the comparison, they will give their feedback to the base station. So in the last stage, we have seen that the total operations will be performing by the base station. Now we are going to see the sub operations of the mobile unit. So there will be the threshold. So threshold is nothing but the calibration technique, nothing but the standard result. So I was just saying for the example. So this mobile unit, they will measure the received power and they will compare received power with the threshold power. So based upon the comparison, they will give the feedback to the base station. So on the on the receipt of this power information, the mobile unit will be instructed by the base station to power up or power down. So with reverse power link, the outer loop power control process dynamically adjust the target energy per bit noise ratio. So in this case, the outer loop power control process will mentioning the base station. So the power command will be sent by the base station towards the mobile unit. So in this case, the target energy will be represented by the parameter EB and noise ratio will be represented by the parameter N0. So what is the activity when comparing the frame inertia or error rate with target frame error rate? If the frame error rate is greater than the target frame error rate, now this mobile unit will be instructed to power up. If the frame error rate will be below the target frame error rate, means the same unit will be instructed to power down. So now we are going for the third subdivision will be the Walsh code. So the Walsh code, they will use fixed length 64 chip Walsh code. Suppose this CDMA 2000, they will introducing variable length Walsh code to accommodate fast packet data rate, fixed length and variable length. While comparing with the fixed length, this variable length Walsh code will providing high data rate as well as fast data rate packets. So this Walsh code will be determining by the type of reverse channel. So similarly to the previous slide, this Walsh code is also based upon or operated on the reverse channel. So in this case, the RSC gets nothing but reverse supplementary channel. So yesterday we have seen that when the data rate will be above 9.6 kbps, we can use this reverse supplementary channel. So this RSH also uses the reverse Walsh code. If there is only one reverse supplementary channel, now we can use 2 or 4 chip Walsh code. That is, there is no condition to change this point. You have to write the same as in the video. When there is a second RSCH, now we can use 4 or 8 chip Walsh code. Only one SCH, now we can go for 2 or 4 chip. Suppose if there is a 2 or SCH supplementary, more than one supplementary channel, now we can go for 4 or 8 chip Walsh code. So to maintain or obtain high data rate on the FCH, the Walsh code must be shorter to maintain the same spreading rate. Suppose if the Walsh code will be larger, now the data rate will be automatically slower. So only one thing, to obtain the high data rate, the Walsh code spreading rate should be shorter. So the fourth one will be spreading rate, which will be explained by the term of SR. So this CDMA 2000, they will defining two spreading rate, which is SR1 and SR3. SR1 they will use to for IS95AB. So in this case, IS stands for Interium Standard. It is a cellular system based on direct sequence technique. So in this cellular system will be operating based upon the CDMA multiplexers. If you can want, you can write in the exam, otherwise you can left over. And this CDMA 2000 phase 1 along with 1X or double T implementation. So yesterday we see that 1X or double T nothing but single carrier radio transmission technology. Similarly, SR3 they are used for CDMA 2000 phase 2 3X or double T. That is 3X or double T stands for multi-carrier radio transmission technology. So for CDMA 2000 SR1, they have used the chip rate of 1.2288 Mbps. It was somewhat difficult. We have to by heart the data rate speed, and they will occupy the same bandwidth as well as using in the single carrier radio transmission technology. So this SR1 is a direct spectrum method. Similarly, for SR3 signal, they are using the rate of 3.6894 Mbps, and according to the bandwidth, they will occupy three times of bandwidth of the CDMA 1 or single carrier modulation technology. That means they will using the same bandwidth comparing with the 3 times of 1x or double T. So this SR3 system they will use all the new coding implementation as well as they are using in the SR1 system to obtaining the high data rate. If you are using the SR1, the same technique is also using by the SR3. The only one difference, the bandwidth will be just 3 times higher than comparing with SR1. So this 3x or double T, that is multi-carrier radio transmission technology, they will use multi-carrier forward link and direct spread reverse link. That means this multi-carrier radio transmission technology will use both forward link as well as the reverse link. So the last one of this topic will be radio configuration, will be RC. So we are involving different modulation, coding and vocoders for the usage amount of 2 different chip rates. So the radio configuration, they will be represented by the parameter of RC1 and RC3. First we are going for RC1. RC1, it is a backward compatible with CDMA 1, and the speed of this RC1 will be 9.6 kbps, and this RC1 is mainly used for voice traffic condition, that is voice information. So RC1 they will support circuit switch data rate at a speed of 1.2 to 9.6 kbps. So now last will be RC3 configuration, that is radio configuration 3. They will be based upon the speed of 9.6 kbps. So they will support variable voice rate from 1.2 to 9.6 kbps, similar to the RC1. So RC1 will support the circuit switch data rate. RC3 they will support packet switch data rate of 19.2, 38.4, 76.8, 153.6 kbps. And one more important point, this RC3 will be operating based upon the spreading rate 1, nothing but SR1. So up to this we finishing the second important topic of unit number 3 will be the CDMA 2000. Thank you.